There sure are a lot of people who think the world is just one big shit show these days. And yet there's other people who think the world couldn't be better, that the economy couldn't be better, that socially things couldn't be better. Why the disparity? In early chiropractic philosophy, they explored why could two people sit at the same bench working side by side? Why could they sit at the same table eating side by side in these social encounters side by side, and yet one gets sick and one remains well? Well, it couldn't be just the germs. They're exposed to the same germs. It had to do with their internal resistance, how their body was able to ward off the so-called germs with a better immune system. Better tone is what they refer to it as. Well, now we have some people saying the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and other people saying, hey, let's make some changes. Let's have all these pronouns and things like that going on. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on, conservative, liberal, we do see this divide. And so now I propose, why do two people have the same emotional stressor? One person, it just rolls right off their shoulder, just like water on a duck, right? And another person, they freak out. They lose their shit because of what's going on. And so we have the same emotional stressor and two responses. And it has to do, in my opinion, with our childhood. Now, I don't care if you had the most amazing childhood or what you would deem as a horrendous childhood. We all have had childhood stressors, emotional stressors that weren't properly soothed at the time. And here's what that means. Our prefrontal cortex, it takes about 5 years to form, which is why we very rarely would have any memories, detailed memories of anything before age 5, age 6, age 7. And yet we were there. But our subconscious mind, from the time we're conceived, it's storing all this data. And as it's storing the data, it uses it in future times. So now as adults, let's say Mommy took away our favorite blanket when we were 18 months old, saying, oh, you don't need that blanket, or you're always sucking your thumb, or your binky, and they take away your binky. And, it's just like, no big deal. You cry a few days, and you get on with life, right? But no, that was very traumatic at the time, an emotional trauma. And now something happens, an emotional stressor. Some people, like I say, it doesn't affect them. Other people, they can't get on. It creates a sense of emotional stress to the point where maybe their anxiety, depression, not feeling loved, not feeling appreciated, not feeling that they are representing who they are, and just plain responding inappropriately for the magnitude of the situation. And as such, here's what's happening. We have all these file cabinets in our subconscious mind, and it says, here is something happening. I'm going to open a file cabinet, and this is how we react or respond if it's appropriate. But sometimes we open the file cabinet that's stuck from that childhood emotional trauma, and we can't move forward as adults because we are stuck, and those emotional triggers, they're like landmines. We can't get beyond them efficiently, appropriately. And that was happening to me. I was feeling, as the pandemic was rolling on, the first few months, I was stressed out. I was burned out. I didn't feel valued in my life. I felt underappreciated, and I felt like my potential wasn't being recognized. And I was sharing that with a friend of mine, and she told me, or asked me this profound question: did I think it could be from childhood emotions that were stored away and not properly soothed? And I kind of went, huh? But she told me about this technique that was recently developed by a couple of Stanford PhDs, and she encouraged me to have a few sessions, so I did. I'm always into new things, and at first it seemed a little woo-woo, but things changed for me. I kind of noticed some changes, but my wife noticed changes, my employees noticed changes, patients noticed changes. Things started going better, and without making any other outside changes, life got better, business got better, and I was sold. I want to learn this. I need this in my toolbox, and so I studied it and became what we call a coach. And I know there's a lot of different coaches out there, but this is a different type of coach. and they offered an advanced program. I became advanced certified. And this weekend, we're actually starting a recertification because they've added so much more material. And so Stacia and I are studying that. And it's called REST with 2 R's, rREST, Rapid Reprogramming of Emotional Stress Technique. And if you're feeling any of those things that I talked about, if you're feeling like the world is weighing down on you, if you feel like you can't handle the shit show, even if it's, globally or just in your little circle or your little life, if you're feeling burned out, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling like your potential isn't being recognized, I came at it from my standpoint as a chiropractor, a doctor, a healthcare professional, a small business owner. And so that started out as my niche, or niche, however you say that. But now I've really learned how to expand that to take this globally. And I would love just to have a conversation with you because I love serving people. I have this servant's heart, and watching how the lives of my clients are changing over the past couple of years is just heartwarming to me. And I don't think people need to suffer. There's so much emotional trauma out there, so much emotional baggage that I would just love to have a conversation. So it's real simple, call to action. Click on the link, and there's no charge, just a free consultation, piece of cake. I'll put it in the post here. But also, what do you have to lose except all the emotional baggage that isn't serving you? It's that simple. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Clark, and I love creating a brighter future. I believe everyone deserves to live a life of unlimited potential.